It's about time you showed up. John LaRoquette here, Friday Night Videos. Listen, we have a very special edition tonight. I'm going to be talking to Sheena Easton, Marilyn Martin, and one of the kings of rock and roll, Little Richard, along with some great videos. So listen, run to the kitchen, get some popcorn, ice cream, lasagna, get the fish out, thaw it, come back, sit down. We're going to have some fun right after this. All right, we're going to talk to a gentleman named Richard Wayne Penniman right now. That's what he was born with, but he exploded upon the world, and we all know who he is, Little Richard. Let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar, these tunes? Tutti Frutti, Long Tall Sally, Ready Teddy, Lucille, Good Golly, Miss Molly. I mean, those were passwords for the anarchistic world of rock and roll when I was a kid. And I just want to say it is an honor and a privilege to be sitting next to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Indeed,
thank you.
Incredible. I've just been reading this. Well, I could spend at least a day and a half talking to you.
You know, this is the first video show that I've ever been on, because when I was a kid, there was no video. This is the first time I've ever been interviewed in a video show before.
If it would have been in the beginning, we'd be sitting behind in some dingy radio station. Probably eating bad chicken.
Oh my God, they didn't have no chicken.
All right, the first thing I want to talk about, let's start in present time, I think maybe, and work backwards a little. I mean, the latest thing I've seen is Paul Mazursky's new film, Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Yes.
You play a cantankerous, wild neighbor of Richard Dreyfuss. How did you and Paul get together to do that?
Well, Paul saw me on 60 Minutes, and he said, we got to do something for Richard. I grew up on his music, and that's my friend. I felt good doing the part, but it was kind of hard for me because it was so hard. Mike the dog gave me a big problem because Mike, I love you. You're a good dog, Mike. Stop biting.
He doesn't watch the show.
He bit my leg. Oh, he gonna watch. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. You'd be surprised. Mike watches more than you think he watches. He don't act like other dogs. No.
He probably has, you and he got along okay, though?
Yes, we got along fine. After he bit me, he came over and made
Really bit you?
He bit me for real. He thought my leg was a piece of black ham. He bit my leg for real.
Listen, we're going to see some of Richard's old friends right now, the Rolling Stones with a new clip. What's the title of it?
The Harlem Shuffler. They got that from Harlem. Oh, Mick.
It's been said that imitation is the best form of flattery. In some circles, it's been called plagiarism. Little Richard's career spans decades, and when you look at people who are recording today and maybe looking back on the past at one of the giants and taking a little bit of the style here and a little bit of the style there, Boy George, Prince, Michael Jackson, the list is endless of people who seem to go back to the foundations in this man's career and try to utilize what he did. Does it depress you, inspire you, make you feel grateful that these guys are doing?
Yes, it does. Now, years ago when Pat Boone did Tutti Frutti, it was a little down to me because I felt then that he was going to sell and I wasn't. It was my chance to get out of the kitchen. I was a dishwasher. I was so tired of washing plates. I washed so many plates, you could just call me Little Plate instead of Little Richard. But with Michael and Boy George and Prince, Michael Jackson is nothing like him. You know, he's the greatest. He's something else. You know, he's a genius, and I think he's so fantastic. And I love him so much. I loved him from a little boy. It's just an honor to me when I see Michael, Prince, Boy George, Mick Jagger, which used to travel with me and open my show, the Beatles, which also was my group working with me. James Brown was my vocalist. Jimi Hendrix was my guitarist. Billy Preston was my organist at the age of 14.
Yeah, but have you worked with anybody that made it?
Oh, woo! Yes, I did.
Listen, stay tuned. When we come back, Richard and I are going to talk about how he met the Beatles, or vice versa. One of the greatest kings of rock and roll, quoted by Mr. Paul McCartney. Now, this is a man that I grew up with.
Yes.
And they sort of inspired me to leave my, it was the music of the 60s, but
yes.
Before that, they had a lot to do with you.
Yes, they did.
How did you come across them?
Well, Brian Epstein, his father had some record shops in Liverpool, England, and he sponsored me in Liverpool at the music hall there. And the night that I arrived to perform in Liverpool, Brian Epstein brought these 4 little guys with the bangs over. They was very peculiar looking to me at the time. And they came in and all of them was just smiling and they wanted to touch my hand. And the picture in the book here where they're touching my hand, they just, Paul just wanted to grab me and he grabbed me and he wouldn't turn me loose. And I really wasn't trying to get her loose either. because I really loved them.
Were you familiar at all with their music
I
at
never
the time?
heard of them in my life. This picture here with me and the Beatles there. I've never heard of the Beatles before. But I never thought they would get famous. Brian Epstein offered me 25% of the group to bring a tape back to VJ Records called Twist and Shout. I said, oh no. Paul could sing, but I didn't think much of the rest of the group, you know. I was wrong again. But they would sit down and they would listen to me sing. I took them with me to Hamburg, Germany, to the Star Club. It was me, Paul McCartney, Casilla Black, the Swinging Blue Jeans, Mick Jagger, Gary and the Pacemakers. All of us was on the same show. But I never thought they would make it. That's right. And they would sit there, and Paul would say, how do you say woo? He would say, woo, woo. He said, how do you say woo? He said, woo, woo. I said, woo. He said, woo, woo. I said, woo. He said, woo, 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 woo. I had, but after a while, then the next time I heard the music saying, woo, I said, he got it.
Looking at the pictures of you in here from the early 50s, you are a very bizarre-looking dude.
Yes, very beautiful.
Yes. In a bizarre sort of way. And then looking at them, looking at the Beatles in '63.
Yeah.
I mean, by today's standards, they could be accountants.
That's right.
They're very, very mild looking.
Right.
But yet, in '63, when they hit America, this was considered very bizarre. Their hair, I'm talking about, just a little bang.
That's right.
Now it's amazing to me how things change, and you look pretty straight here too.
Yeah, pretty straight. It's kind of a little bit.
The pompadour's kind of missing.
Yeah, I'm kind of down a little taste. Tucking it in and pull it off.
Was that your choice?
I put it in the drawer. No, I just took it off and put it in the drawer. No, I didn't. I didn't have it in the drawer. I put that in the dresser. Don't go away. Friday night videos will be right
back.
Woo! Well, Prince. It's Little Richard, Jimi Hendrix, and James Brown.
Yes.
And
you listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Which makes him me, because James Brown came from me, Prince came, Jimi Hendrix came from me, so he's me. Prince,
I got a question.
I was wearing purple before you ever was born.
I got a question here.
Now
You're talking about these people coming from you. Now, as a matter of fact, I thought about this driving here. I wanted to ask you, who did you come from?
My mama.
When you were a kid, who did you idolize? Like I did the Beatles, and Jimi Hendrix probably did you, and people did you. Who did you?
It wasn't nobody. I was nothing but cows and chickens. That's all I heard, and birds and bees, and I
was the only music you were exposed to as a kid just gospel music?
Gospel music. But it was swing and sway with Sammy Kaye when I was a little boy. I couldn't swing and I couldn't sway, so I rocked. My idol in music was Mahalia Jackson. I love God, I still do, and always will. I'm one of his followers, and always will be that. Mahalia Jackson, I love her singing. You know, she says, somebody tells me that I love God. I got that from her. And Ruth Brown was saying, and she was saying, you know, that's when you hear my song. And so next, my mama would say, Richard! I got that from my mama. So when I sung Lucille, that's when you hear that. I got that from my mother calling me in the house. And Clara Ward singers had a lady named Marion Williams. And she would say, I love Lord. Woo! I got that from her, and I put it all together. Little Richard!
Stay tuned to Friday Night Videos. I'm going to be back with Little Richard and talk about when he first came across the Rolling Stones. My neighborhood in the French Quarter, there was this large battle divided in 1964. There were the Beatle fans, and then there were these other guys who liked another group called the Rolling Stones. They were the bad boys. They were the dirty ones. The Beatles had cleaned up their act. The Stones had sort of taken the blues, American blues, and put it through themselves, and formed a whole another generation of more scruffy kind of hood, as we used to call them in New Orleans. When did you first become aware of them, the Rolling Stones?
Being on the tour with myself and Bo Diddley and the Everly Brothers, through England, Mick Jagger was opening the show with us. He had a van, he and Keith and the rest of the group, and they were sleeping in the van, and Mick Jagger started sleeping on our floor. But he would come to me and ask me about Elmo James, Sonny Boy Williamson, Little Walter, Chuck Berry. He would ask me about Professor Longhair from New Orleans, Smiley Lewis, Earl King from New Orleans, Fats Domino, Jesse Hill, Well, New Orleans have all of them anyway. He would ask me about what's happening on the bayou. Mick Jagger is really a modern day Howlin' Wolf. And he loved the blues. He asked about every black singer that people in America wasn't even thinking about these people, and all the white groups in England was asking about them. They loved them, and everybody in America, to them, the groups was gone and outdated, you know. But Mick Jagger loved this blues group.
All right, listen, this is Friday Night Video. Stay tuned. Me and Little Richard are going to come back and we're going to talk about Jimi Hendrix. As I recall, just reading a short biography a long time ago, there was a young man born in Seattle, Washington, I believe, named Maurice James, who used to pick for you.
Yes,
he
right.
became known as, later on to us,
Jimi
as
Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
That's right. I met Jimmy in Atlanta, Georgia. My guitar player, he brought Jimmy up to my room in the hotel. His name was Glenn Willis. And he and Jimmy, both of them was crazy. He brought Jimmy up and said, this guy can play guitar. I looked at Jimmy, I said, my God. He said he can play guitar. I said, can he play?
How old was he? He must have been a teenager.
Oh, he was young, but he was very good looking. He favored me. We both looked like two Indians, the Mohegan tribe, the last ones, both of us. And he came up and he played the guitar for me. And so that night, I went on the stage, and people were just screaming. I was leaping all over the piano. And I thought the audience was screaming after me. And I looked around, they screaming at Jimmy. He's playing the guitar with his mouth. I said, we got to get rid of it. I said, we cannot keep him because he's taking my show. I told my brother, I said, this guy's taking the show. He's eating up the guitar.
No kidding.
Oh, he would eat anything, Jimmy. I'm talking about guitars. He took the guitar and he just playing it with his teeth. He's a great guitar player, Jimmy was.
Now,
he's the greatest musician I've ever
seen.
A few years.
He did.
Before my brother Robert Penniman fired him, he fired Jimmy, but I love Jimmy so much. Jimmy, he was so sweet. Jimmy is a great personality. He wanted to make his guitar sound like I sing. That was his aim in life.
He did some amazing things with guitar, there's no doubt about it.
He did. He made it talk and walk, and squawk and balk. Jimmy. Don't go away. Friday Night Videos will be right
back.
Woo! Mick Jagger was opening my show at the time. He was sleeping in the room with Bo Diddley. He was sleeping on Bo Diddley's floor because he didn't have no place to stay. And he was opening up my show.
It's amazing. People don't think about that, do they? I mean, all they see is the charts. They see the fame and the press coverage and the $1 million records. And they forget that people start from the bottom.
From the bottom, and some never get to the top.
Yes.
Only a few get to
If you hadn't, would you have continued, do you think?
Yes, I believe so. But I knew something had to happen for me because I was so outrageous. And it was impossible for anything to stay on the ground at the rate. You had to get off the ground somewhere. If you had to go up on top of the Empire State Building, you had to go up to the top somewhere.
Now, when you're saying you didn't have a whole lot of business smarts and stuff, but looking at this, and I'm trying to look at it merely as an actor. I mean, it seems like a lot of this was very, very smart, very creative on your part. Now, was this choice, or were you just crazy?
No, well, I was both, choice and crazy. Entertainment-wise and creative-wise, with the creative ability that God has given me for music and for the stage decorum that I had, you know, and the charisma that he has placed inside of me, it was very different. But business-wise, just like Michael Jackson is a great entertainer and a great businessman, I wasn't that. This guy is a genius in business, too. Anybody by the publishing company with the Beatles tunes and Little Richard and all that, he's a very smart cookie. I don't care what box he's in. Oh, Michael, I like that.
Did you get any, besides the obvious trouble that we get into in our own lives, did you find it necessary to protect yourself from the public? Were there people that were...
Yes, a lot. But people after me,
like you?
I can't go no place now. When I ride, since Great Gosh Almighty been out, I can't go no place.
No, I don't necessarily mean fans. I'm talking about people who thought that you should be, like, locked away.
Oh, yes, there was a few of them. Yeah. They died.